Good morning, welcome to day two. I was going to do my monthly vlog today, but I've decided before I do that, I might actually go through and reset my trolley so I am ready for the month. And we can also talk a little bit about what I have done before I show you the videos. I may even end up mixing it together, we'll see. So this is my trolley. It's just the IKEA Raskog. I've had it forever. And these days, it's now like a core part of my small craft room organization. As you can see, I'm sitting on the floor. I've got my wall unit right here. I can touch the wall right there. Basically, my trolley is against the wall. It's basically a hallway. There's a door at the end, you can see. So that's kind of the size of my room. And it works for me. I've worked really hard at organizing and planning the furniture and the layout to make sure it works for me. And this trolley is a key part of that. And the trolley also helps me to make the most of the little slices of craft time that I do get. As you may know, I homeschool my children. I'm a full-time mum, and craft time can be a little bit hard to come by. So this trolley means that I can take my stuff with me wherever I am in the house, whether I'm here in the craft room, whether I'm in the schoolroom working with the kids, whether I'm in the lounge room chilling out after tea. I've always got something nearby and I don't need to think too hard. I reset it at the beginning of every month so that it's fresh. I'm not stagnating on what I'm doing. I am making progress on my projects in theory. So let's go through, let's empty it out and get ready for April. So I'll start at the bottom, clearing out because there's a lot on the bottom. So I'm going to put away my bobbin winder, this, if you're unfamiliar with weaving, this here is for winding these little bobbins that go in my boat shuttle. So they just go on there and wind it up. So that can go back up. Right up on the very top shelf, I have a box called bulky tools. So that will go up there. I'm just going to put it to the side for now. I do have some of these bobbins that I have pre-wound. So I'm going to put those in a pile because I want those to go back on here. I am actively weaving. Obviously my loom doesn't fit in here over the school break. I had it in the schoolroom, but we're back to school now. So this door just back here is my eldest son's bedroom. He's in Sydney at uni. So while he's away, he's there until the end of May. He will be home for Easter, but while he's away, I'm making the most, and I've set my loom up in there. Also in this bottom section, I don't know if you can see, I'll just move my camera for a sec. So I've got this piece of dowel with my cotton reels on it. So I had that set up so that when I was warping and winding the bobbins, they could just roll around on that dowel. You can make yarn stands. There's heaps of patterns on Pinterest and I pinned a heap, but in the end I'm just like, I wonder if this would work. And it did. So I had a scrap of dowel from when I hung this doll's quilt right here. You can see it's still marked on the end. It says scrap. So I have my cotton yarn reels. The problem is I used cheap rubber bands. So I used a rubber band just on each end. I'll show you on this one. So basically put the dowel through here and just use the rubber band to loop it around there. Worked like a charm, but unfortunately it's actually cheap rubber and it's stuck to my thing, so I'm going to have to clean up. So these for now I am going to pop back in my felt and fiber box just up here. It lives on the shelf above my standing desk. I may need to wind more bobbins, but I feel like that's not an immediate need, that I still need to have them active in my active workspace. So I'm going to pop those away. So you can kind of see the difference. Can you tell which was my most common color? That was my least common. So I did kind of do those ones the same, but yeah, I don't know if they were a bit different when they started. But anyway, so they can go back in the box. What else have I got in here? I have spare bobbins. They can go away. So I'll put those in the pile for up the top. That's the little grip that holds my bobbin holder on. In here also I have some excess cotton yarn. When I was winding, I wound one group too many, so I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with that. I might just pop it in my fiber box for now. I think it's a bit disappointing because it feels like it's wasted, but who knows, I might be able to do like a small weaving. I'm contemplating making an inkle loom, so maybe I could use it for that. I'm not sure. I'll pop it on the pile to go in the fiber box. Also in here I have pearl cotton, so that's for my Quiltmas quilt. I'm actually going to leave those in here, I think, because it's getting cooler. I'm not convinced I will get it started this month. I'm not going to get my quilt down and put in the trolley, but I might leave these in the trolley so that if I find the time I can start, and it's kind of a reminder. Random bits that my kids have dropped in. There's a little dish my daughter made that I need to fix, so I might actually put that up on my table to actively fix it. My son's little fire engine, I don't know why. and a screwdriver that I used. I think I used that when I added the heddles to my loom. So they can go in the hallway, ready to go back where they need to go. And then I've just got a stack of twist ties that are part of my loom, so they hold all the heddles together. So I'm just going to put those aside, and that's the bottom cleaned out. Not sure what that screws from. Whoops. So obviously I got a lot done in the weaving department this month in March. So I got my loom warped up. I will share a full video on my weaving and to kind of step you through the process that I've done so far. That was my big project for March. In the middle shelf, it's been a bit hit and miss. Let's take a look. That's my shuttle tatting. I've started practicing. That's my shuttle there. Got some little bits and pieces where I've been practicing. So I did it a little bit, I think. So I think I'm just going to leave it in that little pouch. It's very small and unobtrusive, and it's definitely something that I want to continue to work on. So I think I'm going to put it there. What I might do actually, so far I've been using videos to work with, but I'm thinking I might even like print out like a little book with some basic patterns maybe and some basic instructions that I can fold up and pop in here so it's all ready to go. And I don't need to think about like the noise level and stuff around me where it could be hard to watch videos, or I don't want to have headphones in, that kind of thing. So I might do that to make sure that I actually do something on that. So I'll put that aside to go back in the trolley. What's next? Okay, this I definitely want to prioritize in April. It's my week in the life photos. So I've got, some of them are printed as 4-ups, some of them are printed as 2s, and some of them are just printed as full-size photos. So I have the album up there. So that's going to be my project for this month. My biggest thing is, because it was October, I've kind of forgotten what photos are from what day. So I want to create like a design wall style thing. I'm thinking I might cut the 4-up photos and maybe like tape them to the wall. If anyone's got any great ideas, I would love to hear them. So let's keep that in the trolley. My Kindle, obviously without a cover. My cover is actually in my bedroom, so I need to get my cover. I'll keep my Kindle there. My commonplace book, my notebook, it's kind of just like I do need to kind of get back in the habit of using it as a creative brain dump space. So I'm going to keep that in my trolley. My iPad, it can stay there because I use it on and off. My pencil, because we've got one Apple Pencil, but we've got 2 pencil compatible iPads, and so the kids keep pinching my pencil. So maybe for Mother's Day I need to ask for a new Apple Pencil. My sketchbook, I haven't done a lot in there. I've done one sketch as part of school, and that was in February. My goodness. One of my goals for March was to make sure I touched everything in here, and I didn't do that with this, mainly because I am working on 100 days, and that's my main sketchbooking project. So maybe I pop this away for now. I'm going to pop that in my current journals box, so it's still active, but it's not think about it every day kind of thing. A book that I've started reading, I bought this in Sydney. I've started reading, there's a bookmark there. I don't know that I'm loving it, obviously, because it's been in my trolley all month and I haven't made a lot of progress, but I have started it. So I'm going to keep that and keep going. So I'll leave that in my trolley pile. I have a paper pad, ephemera, and then cards that I've made, and I think there's even some photos in there. I'm going to put that in the pile for week in the life. I might even use that paper for week in the life, not just for project life. Let's do that, because I really do need to prioritize that. A devotional that I've been working on and off for a couple of years, depending on, you know, what else I'm working on in a devotion. At the minute, I am doing Bible journaling for Lent, so I'm going to pop that away as well because I don't need 2 running side by side. I'm not going to touch it. Sock pattern. So this is the Kida. How cute are these? So I've knitted 1 sock, so I'm going to grab that and put where it belongs in here. So I've got the sock knitted. This is my Christmas yarn I've finally decided to use, so I think even with the low contrast it works well in that pattern. I knitted that on my girls weekend a couple of weeks ago, so I've still got the yarn, my stitch markers and stuff in there. I do want to cast on the second sock ASAP so I don't lose the mojo. I am working on a different pair of socks at the minute as part of a test, so I need to prioritize a single sock from that pair before I come back to this, but they do use different needles, so I'm thinking I may even just be a bit naughty and cast on anyway. Sock knitting is one of my favorite ninja crafting things because it's so easy and quick to do a couple of rounds in between everything else. Which brings me to this bag. So these were my Scout snake socks. I knitted this, basically this entire tube during state rally last year, and I've finally done the second afterthought heel. And so literally all I need to do with these socks is weave in the ends and block them. So, oh, see, it's still attached. Oh my goodness. So I'm definitely going to leave those in the trolley. I think for now, because they still need weaving in, I am going to leave them in their bag. There's nothing else in there except for a little bit of scrap yarn, but that just keeps them contained and tidy. What else have I got? I have my collage sketchbook. I did do a collage page. I think I did that this month, but again, my active project is 100 days. So I'm going to pop that with the other one in current journals so that it's active but not in my face. My sketchbook guidebook, which I'm using with that other sketchbook, so I'm going to pop that on the bookshelf for now, put aside. Some kid playing stuff, it can go. My writing book, I actually want to write 1,500 words a day. So if I'm feeling a bit of writer's block, I like writing by hand. It seems to help the words flow. So I'm going to do that this month, even though the poor old elastic. Honestly, this book has been floating around forever. I don't even know if I've got a date on the beginning, but honestly, this would be 6 or 7 years old, probably, even more maybe. I don't know, but I love the book, so I'm going to keep that in here because I want to write more this month. My husband's farm notebook. Bookmark, of course, cannot go without that. Just some little pieces of scrapbooking paper. I think they've fallen out of the paper pads, so I'm just going to pop them in this pouch that's just from Daiso. Love Daiso pouches. My film camera, so I need to use it up some more. I've only taken about 15 photos, so I feel like this lens isn't helping me. That's for the photography inclined. It's 180mm 2.8. It's a prime lens. I'm actually going to pop this up on my desk. I'm going to swap it for my 50mm lens, I think. So on my main camera, I tend to bounce between a 35 and an 85. So I'll be pretty safe to pop a 50 on that and keep that in my trolley. It's been in my trolley since October. When I was aiming to do a film photo a day, which obviously I failed, but I really want to use it. Let's do that. I'm going to pop the 50 on that. I feel like that will be a more practical lens that I'm more likely to use than the big lens. Bit of kid floss can go in the hallway. My scissors, I'll pop those in my sock bag. My stitch fixer, that can go in my yarn tools bag. Okay, just some scraps that can go in my collage box. I don't even know. Rules. Why are the rules in my trolley? They can go to the schoolroom. Just a bit of scrap that can go in the bin. Scraps. A little note from my daughter, it can stay in there. Honestly, I feel like she was maybe 4 when she drew that, but it floats around, so I'm going to keep it in here. And then on the top, I have some slow stitching. I want to keep going with it. It's part of the Making Zen class. Did I touch it in March? No, I didn't. So I'm sewing these little scrap squares. I feel like I shouldn't be including stuff that I'm not convinced I'm going to use, but also like it's handy to have a couple of projects that I can just like grab a pouch and go. This is the Flora supply case by Clover and Violet pattern. I made it for Quilt Camp a couple of years back. I'm going to look at my pile. I'm going to leave it. I've got enough room. So, and then up the top, I've got my Bible, so which is filling up nicely. Look at all those tabs. Looks fabulous. So obviously I'm going to keep that there because I am working through a Lent project. I bought this when I was in Sydney in February, and it's just been a fabulous addition. So in here I have my drop spindle and some yarn that I've just finished spinning. So I'm going to take some photos of that, blog about it, and then wind the yarn off. I do also have a bit of leftover fiber from that. So it's, I want to say like it's an English Leicester. It's a really interesting fiber. So I've got a little bit of that there. So I'm actually going to pop those in my fiber box. I think I'm just going to pop them in my fiber box because they're nice fibers to have, and they'll be handy like for needle felting or something. I'm sure I'll find something. So I'm going to put that to the side to take photos of. Hopefully, I might even take photos of it today. Now that it's out of the trolley, I'll take photos, pop it up on my blog, and then I can move on. My Nitty Noddy, it needs to go back up into bulky tools. The yarn that I used for these socks, I was thinking of reskeining and just packing away, but I ended up doing the socks instead. Hand cream stays in there. Bookmark, It's actually one of the kids' bookmarks, but anyway, we're always looking for bookmarks. And that's everything in the top row. So let's pack it back in. So bookmark and hand cream obviously can go in there. So because the top layer has the lid, the stuff on the top is going to be stuff that I don't need in the immediate term. So the pearl cotton can go in there. So in the middle, I'm going to put my week in the life stuff. So the paper pads and stuff. Envelope of photos can go there. I'll put my book to encourage me to keep reading it. iPad and notebook. I'm going to put them at the back just because the size feels neater stacking it like that. Writing book, Kindle. I really need to get that cover. My spare bookmark can go up the top. Husband's notebook can go up the top. Sock. Shuttle tatting. Slow stitching. I do have those bobbins. They need to go into the weaving room. I'll just pop those. So that actually leaves my bottom empty, which is okay because I'm thinking I'm going to get out my crochet blanket to start picking it this month. But also I do want to get a quilt out of the container that was actually my mum's. It's my Easter whip busting project. Also behind me that I can't fit on the trolley, this project here. So I'm going to cut this yoga mat up to be the top of this ottoman I'm going to recover. So that can be this month's project. Also what I do have that needs to go on the trolley, I have this dress that I need to alter for my daughter. So it can go on the bottom. So under here is my yarn falling out of it. It's getting so huge. I will do like a whole video on this, I think, because yeah, it's so huge. Try not to break my finger as I put it down. So that, as you can see, like it struggles to fit in there. It can go in there. I need to get my, I'll put the lid back on here, the Bible on here. So very full down the bottom, obviously. Nice and neat in the middle, top with the lid on, ready to go. And then obviously this project here, ready to go. I need to find the cover and work on that. And that's my trolley reset, ready for April adventures. Thanks for joining me for day 2, and I hope to see you tomorrow for day 3, where I'll be sharing more about my current weaving project.